Welcome everybody to the Lead for Sell podcast. Here I got Mili Soch. What's up?
Don, how you doing?
Good, brother. Good, brother. How you doing?
Doing okay, man. I'm glad that we're doing this. This must be the highlight of the last few days. Just being dipping into heavy depression and some anxiety. But yeah, working through it.
Cool. I appreciate you talking about it too. I think the hardest thing to do is actually say, hey, this is what I've been going through the last couple of days.
Right. Yeah, it's one of the things I feel like I need to do in order to battle it. The more I talk about it, the more understanding I get about it, especially like, people who understand it. And um, instead of talking to, sometimes it's easy to talk to family members and they'll just tell you, hey, you just need to pray more often, or, or don't worry, why are you thinking about it? And those are such no-nos when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to somebody dealing with depression, because it only puts you more into depression and it gives you this understanding that people don't understand you,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and that's sometimes you just want people to hear you, and not say anything at all, just so you could vent and get clarity on your own as you speak your thoughts,
Yeah.
So, um, so yeah, that's why it's I'm happy to do something like this, and I look at it as an opportunity to talk about it despite the vulnerabilities, uh, just so somebody else can maybe see this and be like, um, I've been dealing with this, but I can't even talk to my spouse about it, for example, or any family member, for example, um, so yeah, this is my first time talking to somebody on a podcast when I'm feeling down.
Do you know
You
what? Do you
know,
know what's freaking crazy about that? That is the most confident thing you could have said.
really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It takes, first of all, it takes an absolute leader to look at themselves as they are in the moment. Like
Yeah,
like that takes real leadership. It takes so much confidence to not only look at yourself and then to declare, hey, I'm actually looking at myself like this, exposing myself for the purpose of inspiring another human being.
right.
Now you're taking a real role. What you're saying is, hey, I'm walking up a mountain. It's steep. It's not an easy walk. But you know what? I'm gonna walk in front of you. It's gonna suck, but you're gonna see that it's possible to walk up this mountain as long as I walk up in front of you.
Right, for sure.
So I
uh,
mean that's powerful. That's
thank
powerful.
Thank you, man. With words like that is what helps. You know what I mean? Sometimes, like even today, I did not think. It's just that sometimes I feel like this. I forget the term for it, but when series of things happen together,
Mhm.
whether it's good things or bad things, that's how energy just formulates. I believe. Like sometimes, for years I worked at like in the customer service department in different storefronts, and it was the same thing. There would be this gap of people, no one showing up, and then there would be a clump of people showing up, and you can see the same thing when you go to a drive-through, or we all have experienced things like that, and that's how I feel. Sometimes negative energy affects somebody. It just feels like an onset of of a season rather than a day. It just feels like this cloudy season of depression, and and I felt like I was just falling into something like that until until this happened, which I can feel like I could use as momentum to start climbing again, instead of taking a break, or feeling like I fell off. And it's always when the falling off happens and then trying to reach back up, it's
Yeah.
the most hard. It's
Yeah.
the hardest.
Yeah.
Um, but sometimes it's just that one moment of encouragement, or courage or motivation that you can just grasp onto, and then help that cultivate. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's right. That's right. That's right. And it's that easy, yet it's that complex as well.
Yes, of course. Uh, it's the fight within, right?
Yes.
As they say, it's easy. It's easy to tame the ego. For instance, someone says "fuck you." It's easy to be like, okay, I'm just gonna like walk the other way or whatever. It's easy to say that, but at that moment when it's happening,
Yeah.
it's so easy to dip back into ego and be like, yo, who you talking to, right?
Yeah.
So like, yes, it is easy, but the complexity of it, you know, it's an oxymoron. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, it's funny. Like I after learning a whole bunch of different spiritual principles and taking on a bunch of tools to actually strengthen my mindset, I realized it became more challenging when I would fall off because I would judge myself because I knew better. And then
Right.
that would spiral this weird little, I don't know what, I don't know if you'd call it depression or just self-loathing or whatever it was. Is like I'd feel really bad about myself because I didn't show up how I know to show up. And then that becomes a cycle in and of itself. And I had to really let go of that and just move on, like actually move on. And that took a little while to really start grasping that concept.
Right, and I'm glad you actually brought that up because recently I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about the energy of guilt itself. Okay, so when you start feeling guilty, what happens in your brain is your brain starts protecting yourself. So the ego starts protecting itself by saying, "Well, it's all fucked up anyways, so double down on your fucked upness."
Yeah.
If that makes sense, right?
That makes a lot of sense.
So feeling guilty about something I've learned recently by obviously self-observation, and then when you come across somebody else talking about it, someone with credibility and who's been through stuff, and then you sit back and ponder and try to dissect how your mind operates or body operates. Um, it's so easy for us to think that we have total control over our mind and bodies, especially when that's what we're fed for a long time, um, growing up in this society. Um, but yeah, um, guilt is something, once you dip into it, if you can dissect it within each individual self, you will understand that it makes you not want to face yourself and put yourself in the mirror. Therefore, you start doubling down on the easiest thing to do, which is what? It's easier to eat non-healthy than eat healthy. It's easier to not work out than work out. It's easier to live your ego than always keep checking yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you do something guilty, it's easier to do the easiest thing.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Because again, now what happens is, from my observation of self, it's you start facing yourself. Now you're holding yourself accountable, right? Instead of doing that, should be the first process. Instead of falling into the guilt trip, you should start holding yourself accountable, saying, "Hey, this is what happened. This is what I did. Okay, it's fine. I'm going to learn from this. Tomorrow's a new day."
Yeah.
Once the guilt consciousness kicks in, you feel like, okay, you feel so guilty that you feel down, you feel depressed, and you don't want to face yourself. That's another added hurdle in all the hard stuff you want to do, which is meet your soul every day and live your soul every day.
Yeah. Yeah. The challenge with meeting your soul in those moments is that's the moment of death.
Right.
Because like these easy things that we do, the results of these easy things like not going to the gym and eating unhealthy and doing this stuff consistently creates this lifestyle that we're not happy with, or many of us aren't happy with. You know what I mean? And then from that, we begin to feel depressed, and then that depression it becomes an identity
Yes.
for so many. And the craziest thing about that is once you have that identity, you need to survive. You need that identity to survive. That ego needs to survive. Doing something different could kill that ego. So that ego is now in fight or flight mode. So that ego is gonna double down, like you described, and go and just live that truth just to confirm it, or you're wrong, and you can't be wrong.
Right. Exactly. And that's an ongoing. It's an ongoing process, man. That's why I truly believe that everybody suffers from some sort of mental health issue. I'm not saying that everyone is crazy in the sense of, everyone has bipolar issues or schizophrenia. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that we all suffer from some sort of mental stress.
Yeah.
Even the most mentally healthiest person suffers from some kind of challenge or battle with the ego and the soul. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we have to come to different calculations. I mean, at times you do have to use your ego in order to get, when someone's to defend yourself, for example. You have to have your ego, and you have to work. You have to use it at its sharpest form. That's why somewhere I heard this, and it really stuck a chord with me. It's someone said, the ego is like a pencil, right? The
Yeah.
less you use it, the sharper it is. Uh,
Ooh.
you know what I mean? So when you need to use it, it's going to be so
Oh.
sharp. Uh,
Oh, that's good.
whether it's somebody you're defending, you yourself or your family, where someone is stepping up to you, or you're, I don't know, in a boardroom and you're negotiating. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You still need your
Yeah.
ego for that, and it's only going to be sharp if you use it the least. You know what I
Wow.
mean?
I mean, that's the epitome of impeccability.
Yes, exactly,
That's
exactly.
why that word was created.
Right.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Um,
So what do you do? What do you do when okay, you're in this state of depression a couple days ago? What like can you describe what was the peak of it?
I think I'm still going through the peak of it. To be honest,
You're in the peak right now?
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Amazing.
Uh, like as I'm talking, I could feel the releases from my body. You know what I mean? Because I'm so aware nowadays of my mind and my body, I could feel it.
Well, this
Uh,
is
as you're
yeah.
saying it, I could feel the release. Um, but yeah, it all started. To be honest, to be completely transparent, it started off with the song that I was working on. I am working on. It's my next release. It's called
Yeah.
"Dysfunctional Family."
Yeah.
The title itself says it all.
Mm,
Um, so the song itself came about because while I was dealing with a lot of depression, I went to see a therapist, and it's my first time ever doing something like this. While sitting there talking to them is when I understood of how much stress I've been dealing with and depression I've been dealing with, but I have been using drugs and alcohol and just living the street life and living the ego really, um, to numb that and not
yeah.
understand it at all, right? Um, and sitting with my therapist is when I started understanding that, okay, she suggested, first of all, that, hey, listen, you're a musician, uh, you make music, so that's a form of release for you. You already have this gift. Maybe you should use this not even to record, but just to get it off your chest, things in your head and things that's making you feel down. So from that, dysfunctional family was born, I would say. It was things I was struggling with, dealing with my parents' divorce, how my dad used to treat us when we were kids, how my mom got treated, and a lot of abuse, lies from my dad. And but at the end of it all, I still have so much love for him, and I haven't talked to him in years and haven't had a great relationship with him. um, but yeah, that's what the overall song was about. So even recording the song, what's crazy, I recorded the song about last year.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously due to the pandemic, everything, all the studios were shut down and everything. So I completely forgot that the song was recorded. And when the management came together to even, like, once everything started dying down, and where we started understanding that, okay, we need to shoot a video for this in order to help other people, like we said before. So we made that shift in the music itself and how we want to release stuff, and it really became a part of self-understanding. That's what helped me even become a better recording artist, is what I believe, because now I'm talking about everything. Before, it was just bullshit, man. The songs are out there, you could go hear it. It didn't come from the heart. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It didn't come from the heart at all. It was just having fun, which is good sometimes. And this time around, it's more intention, more purpose. Anyways, going back to Dysfunctional Family, we went and shot it. And also we wanted to do everything with purpose. So the where we shot it was at Camp 30, which is in Ontario, not too far from Toronto, about 45 minutes away. It's where the Nazi prisoners were held.
Really?
Yes. So
Wow.
it's this abandoned spot. Um,
Ooh,
uh,
that's got to be weird energy there too, eh?
yeah, it was. they were treated pretty good. So these were prisoners of war during World War II, and it was a campsite. It's completely abandoned now. Um, so yeah, we scouted the area during quarantine, me and my manager, and then we came back, worked with the videographer. We actually got uh, escorted out with drones, like drones hovering over.
What?
Yeah.
Did
So,
like was it like an audio coming up saying
yeah,
leave?
yeah,
Or?
it's like a straight audio, right, hovering over us saying you are on private property. This property has been bought by some corporation, and it like
Whoa,
followed us all the way out.
that's
Um,
creepy.
yeah, it was,
That's cre-
and it was just so much history in there, and that's what we wanted to like bring out. Just that it's right behind our backyards if you live in Toronto, and a
Mhm.
lot of people do not know about it. So we wanted
That's
to bring
wild.
that to light, just the history as being Canadians.
Yeah.
Number two, it went with destruction and dysfunctional family. It went along together. However, part of the video was to piece together childhood videos of my parents being together, and me, my brothers, all of that fun stuff, right? Like everyone in celebrations, birthdays. So my job was to go through the footage. I've been putting this off for like a whole month now. So the last couple of days, which is what started the depression, was I knew I had to get into the puddle. It's like almost like it's quicksand, and but you're putting yourself into it in order to get this project done. Because now I have
Yes.
pressure from manager getting at me, the videographer getting at me. Hey, what's going on? Like I thought you wanted to release this. We did. The intention was to release it end of September. Um, it takes a month to get it out properly and professionally. So and it's close to the end of September, and I haven't. So just in the last couple of days, I had to put myself in that position, go through all the footage. Obviously, a lot of waterworks, a lot of crying, a lot of
Yeah.
grieving of the relationships, grieving, also understanding that hey, my dad did love me. Hey, he was just a human being that he felt like he had to play his cards a certain way. Those cards weren't dealt for me. He had some part in dealing in the cards that I've been dealt with by the universe. He had
Yeah.
some part in it. However, he also had his own set of cards,
Yeah.
is what I realized, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it's also reliving those moments. So now we're watching videos of me when I was 5, then when I was 10, when I was 11. So it's like different stages. And as you know, as children, the way time works, it's a very slow process. We think 10 years, 5 years is whoa, it's out there. As soon as you start hitting your 30s or late 20s is when you start realizing that the perception of time is different now. Everything feels so quick, blink
Yeah.
of an eye, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, so that's what onset and everything. I also deal with a lot of chronic pain from a motor vehicle accident I was involved in, which led to a lot, nerve damage. I deal with a lot of neuralgia. So that also is part of my depression. So I live with pain every day. So that was an added. So the way it works, I've come to realize my body, every time I stress out about something, it obviously impacts my nervous system even more. Therefore, the pain that I go through on a daily basis and live with is um, it's even more enhanced,
Yeah.
because I'm suffering from emotional trauma and pain. It only onsets my ongoing pain, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Um, so that was an added thing. And then this morning I got a call from actually got a couple of emails from insurance saying that they're denying a lot of my medications that I severely need in order to battle pain.
Hence the spliff.
Yes, the spliff is medical marijuana. It's prescribed by the doctor for my
Hell
anxiety
yeah.
as well as my pain.
Yeah.
It's and before I used to abuse this. I didn't know what I was doing because I was obviously smoking street stuff that you have no real background on what is the content of it, right? Sometimes it's easy to think weed is just weed. It's not. If you're going to abuse marijuana, yes, it's just weed and you just want to smoke it. If you want to self-medicate, yes. But if you want to, and that's why I'm so happy to be Canadian, you don't understand. Okay.
So
Because now
awesome.
we have doctors who will sit there with you, look at your condition, look at every aspect, right? Whether it's the pain you're dealing with or the mental issues you have, right? Which is anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, whatever it may be. Based on that, they give you a chart. They tell you how much CBD you should be taking in order to lower your anxiety. And based on all the other medications you're on, how much THC you're supposed to take based on the day of time, the time of the day, sorry. Whether it's sativa, whether it's indica, and that's been really good and helping. However, again, this morning was just another added. I feel like it was added stress, but at the end of the day, man, as I'm saying this, on my good days, I remember that everything happens for a reason, and every time we feel like we're battling this, it's what I'm feeling right now. That's as I'm speaking about everything I need to do and face head on.
Yeah.
I understand. Whenever you feel threshold, there's only something good on the other side. Whether it's something you expect or don't expect, it's only something that's going to benefit you. Um, and this is a good reminder for me that uncomfortable is where happiness lies.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
uh, as I'm feeling depressed right now, I will welcome it and welcome the uncomfortable bits of it.
That's as real as it gets, man. That's as real as it gets. Like, let me just offer some perspective to this whole equation as
Yeah,
well,
please.
if that's okay. So this depression that started over the last couple of days is a result of you going through all this old stuff, and you're looking at some traumatic or even depressing memories that have happened in the past, and you're kind of reliving them, right?
Yeah.
And now you and I met in the Amazon jungle. We had our first ayahuasca experience together
Yes.
in down in the jungle. And the cool thing is, like what I learned down there through that is we store traumas and depressions and emotions in our body. And when we drink ayahuasca, we're surfacing those already stored things that are depressing or traumatic or emotional or whatever it is. So maybe you aren't going through depression right now. Maybe you're releasing depression that you were holding on since you were a child because you were willing to face all this stuff. And it was actually there before you even started looking at all these pictures and old stuff. And now it's coming to the surface because you're reliving this stuff for the purpose of having a new experience.
Right, for sure, for sure. Uh, Thank you for that. That actually is moving.
Mhm.
Thank you for that perspective. It's when you do psychedelics or you're a psychonaut, uh, you know these things. You know these things. But again, when you're in the quicksand,
Well, that's it, right? And then
it's a bit harder. You know what I mean?
well, you
Until
judge
someone
it, and
comes
then
in.
you judge yourself. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
You're like, damn it, I know this. Why did I fall into this, right?
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you know what? Yes, it's easy to think that, but at the end of the day, we need to use each other as crutches, man. That's what comes
straight
down to.
up.
You know what I mean? Whether it's I have a lot of pride when it comes to just because I'm cynical. I'm just a cynical person. Not it's how should I put this? I'm very cynical when it comes to friends and family. Okay.
Yeah,
Um, I get very prideful. Uh, but when it comes to people that I meet from the soul, people like yourself, people that I've shared psychedelic experiences with for the most
yeah,
part. Not everybody, obviously, but for the most part, it's always that soul connection. Sometimes I meet people, in the business I'm in, and it's an instant connection, like each other for a long time, and there's no bullshit. It's that purity. You know what I mean? Um, when I have that with people, I never have pride. I never feel ways. I'm always myself. Um, when it comes to family and people that you start thinking are friends, I have so much right to ask for anything, even if it's me calling and asking perspective or advice on
yeah,
something, you
yeah,
know. Uh, and hence, when people vent to me, I don't give advice until they ask me directly for advice,
Yeah.
you know, because, yeah, man, sorry, I'm just getting emotional.
Good, man. This
This
is
whole thing, you
healthy.
know what I mean?
This is where the strength lies, because in these states, what you do with it determines the outcome, and what you're choosing to do with it, what I'm observing you choose to do with all of this that's surfacing right now, is you're choosing to meet it, you're choosing to look at it, you're choosing to share it, and you're choosing to be inspiration. You're choosing to inspire somebody that might be going through it right now.
Right.
And like, I'm watching how you're meeting it. You know what I mean? Because like, sometimes punches get thrown, and you're either going to get punched in the face or you're going to dodge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're moving with what's going on,
Right.
and like, that's strength. Like, that's real strength. This is inspiring to watch how you master these emotions and feelings and everything that's going on inside of you.
Right. 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 Huh. Yeah. Never looked at it like that, but
Yeah, you're showing up for it. You're not
yeah.
letting it dominate you, because it could dominate you. You could go lay in bed right now.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
could
for
lay in bed
sure.
and not get out.
Bro, that was one of the things, right? Like one of the things was, you know, after today's back set, I feel like with my recovery, you know, especially when my medication is getting denied, my treatment plans are getting denied, whether it's looking at going seeing a physiotherapist or talking to somebody.
Mhm.
Um, it's an easy pattern to fall into, to get worried, because obviously the future is you don't know what the future holds, right? When it
Yeah.
comes to especially when I'm talking about this particular matter here, with my medication and stuff. So this morning I knew that we had this meeting, um, but I couldn't even go and text to confirm it, because I
Yeah.
was so caught up in this quicksand. So when you did reach out and you're like, hey, are we still on for today? I took myself as this should be one of the opportunities, because for the most part, for maybe 99% of the time, every time I felt this depressed, I wouldn't do shit.
Ooh, you just changed up the whole sequence.
Yes, I felt like, you know what, how else am I going to challenge myself? How else am I going to say, uh, fuck you to my ego? Because that's what's keeps running this treadmill in my head,
Yeah.
whether it of past events, because obviously I've now viewed it uh, just recently in the last 48 hours. So my ego keeps running that cycle of all these memories, and you should feel more bad and you should feel more depressed. And also you're dealing with depression on a daily basis with pain. So how do I shut it off and say fuck you to it right in his face by doing this and accepting to do this while I feel like this?
Wow, man. You know, that's like, do you see the movie The Last Samurai?
Yes, a long time ago.
Do you
I
remember it at all?
Not as much as I should, I guess. But all I do remember was Tom Cruise.
Okay, yeah, it's true. Okay, at the end, Tom Cruise
Okay.
and that old Japanese guy, they're losing the battle,
Okay.
and they just keep moving forward. Like, they're getting, I don't know if they're getting shot, or I think he's getting shot. And
Okay.
just boom, boom, and they're just not stopping, and they're just continuing on and continuing on and continuing on. It's just, that's what I was thinking of right now. Like, boom,
Uh,
this is getting thrown at you. Boom, this is getting thrown at you. You're
mhm.
going through all this stuff, and then you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna surface all of these emotions as well. So then you start looking through all these pictures, and you're going through the tears, and you're going through this and that, and you're like, holy fuck, this is way too much. Then you're like, oh my god, the doctors aren't giving me medications. This is even crazier. Oh, now I got to go on this podcast. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly the inner voice. I couldn't have nailed it any better.
And
But
it's
yeah,
it's as
man.
easy as you're making it. You're making it look really easy right now, and that's hopeful for people. You're making it look simple, and none of us, like, you don't know what's going on inside of me, and I don't know exactly what's going on inside of you. But from the outside in, what you're doing, in my observation, is you're making it look very easy.
And I'll take it back to what you said before. Uh, Simplicity is where complexity also lies.
Yeah.
Also, I think when you are training every day, right? For example, if you're an athlete, right? And you're trained every day because that's what an athlete does, right? Doesn't matter how you feel. The coach don't give a fuck about how you feel. Anybody that endorses you doesn't not give a fuck about how you feel. All they care about is, are you putting in the work? Why? Why? Why is that? So on game day, you make it look fucking easy.
Boom. Boom. Straight
Right?
up. Straight up.
So I feel like today I feel like today is game day. Today is game day. Like, for the first time ever, I said, okay, let me do something instead of using this and sitting back and letting the entire day go by, sometimes which turns into fucking weeks and months, man. And and I don't know sometimes how to get over it, and it's effort that we need to make as individuals because we owe it to our souls. We owe it to ourselves. One good thing from looking at those footages was I looked at my younger self. I wasn't an introvert like this. I was running
Ooh.
around. I was running around. I had so much more in me. I forgot. I forgot I was that kid. I was looking at myself as that's me? Yo, I forgot, bro. I
Oh,
fucking forgot.
boom. Celebrate the depression then. Because that shit's leaving.
You
That
know?
shit is going flying out the window. Thank you, depression, for coming up and getting the hell out of here. Because I'm seeing that little kid right now running around in his joy.
You know what I mean? And that's when I remembered that, holy shit, this is what it comes down to. It comes down to us getting prepped, right?
Yeah.
All our lives to stand in line. Okay, it's good. It's good. It's good. So, to some degree, we do need uh, uh,
Order.
order and compartmentalizing. If not, everything is going to be chaos. Yes. But so much structure has been given to us since we're kids, right? And we've always been numbers have been thrown at us since we were kids in order to compete with each other, whether it's the grades, whether it's how much we scored. You know what I mean? Competition is good, don't get me wrong. That's where we find our our strengths and weaknesses, and as children. But as we grow, we start thinking, no, we're supposed to behave a certain way as we grow older, and hence the saying, oh, well, how old are you? Like that's supposed to determine anything. Or it's easy in a South Asian culture to think that age equates to wisdom.
Yeah.
Somehow you grow gray hair and it's supposed to mean you're wise, and you're conditioned with these things. And lately, I've started to realize that this compartmentalizing of and how we're conditioned like this, it makes us forget. Therefore, when we go and start working somewhere, when we go to university, and we're so again conditioned to narrow thinking and just looking at a brick instead of looking at the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And which trickles down to everything, man. That's why when we grow up, we go get this corporate jobs, and we think like, no, we have to be pricks, and like we have to have like a pickle up our ass, and you get what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
or act in such manner. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
therefore, what starts happening is we start treating each other. We start letting the ego whisper in our ears way more about each other, right? So it's easy, and this is why I say that I have a hard time connecting with family and friends that I used to have.
Of course. I mean, this is society. It's crazy to think, yet we play parts based on stereotypes as well that we
Yeah, of
see.
course.
Like even when I had my first ayahuasca experience, I came home and I was doing what I thought spiritual people were supposed to do. And like it's just because we were conditioned like that, right? Like if you're in the corporate job, you do what you think that corporate guy is supposed to do, and you talk like you think because that's what was given in movies and the way we grew up and whatnot. So I seen spiritual people acting a certain way, and it took me a little bit to realize I can be spiritual like me. It's actually it's more spiritual to be spiritual like Lee rather than this guy or that guy or like this this.
Yes. I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's what I truly understand now. That we all are unique, and there's a reason why we have a unique, why we have unique fingerprints.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? In order to live, you know,
Yeah.
as we are, and we start thinking that we need to do these things or do that things or say certain things and act a certain way, which takes away from who you are. You know what I mean? If it connects with your soul, it's a different story, because when you execute it, it comes off flawless. You get what I'm saying? Whatever it is, right? Um, and and yeah, man, I'm so glad that you said that. It goes back to, again, me looking at that footage as a kid. It made me also realize that that's what we start to lose. We start to lose that purity of connection with the soul that we had. Therefore, when we
Yeah.
were kids, you know, whatever you put your mind to, if you wanted a certain thing, it was easier to get, whether it was a PlayStation 1, whatever it was. Either you nagged your parents, cried your ass off, or you went and did something, aced, I don't know, an exam where you felt like you had leverage to get that. So you manifested it, or it was, I don't know, Christmas and grandma bought you that. Whatever it was, you manifested it, right? We lose the purity of it because we lose that connection with our soul, and we start acting the ego
Ooh.
instead of being the soul.
So
Because
when
the
somebody
ego,
says,
sorry, go ahead.
when somebody tells you to align before you move forward, that's what they're saying, is connect back with your
Oh,
soul.
right. Yes. Yes. Connect with your soul, right? And sometimes I I need to I just started understanding that I need to ask myself more. Is it aligning with my soul? No matter what I do. You know
Ooh,
what I mean? Is it aligning with my soul? If it is, then let's do it. If it's not, then what's the point, right?
that's
Whether it's
powerful.
wasting whether it's watching a TV show, which could be a waste of time, but if it's aligned with your intention of why you are watching it, are you benefiting or gaining something from this?
Ooh, dude, okay. You know who Sadhguru is?
Sorry, who?
Sadhguru?
Sadhguru. Sounds familiar.
You see him on YouTube. He's a mystic and
Okay. Oh,
whatnot.
yes. He has a turban,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah. So this one talk, somebody was asking him about being aligned, right?
Yep.
He said there's yogis in India.
Hmm.
They'll drink a full bottle of rum a day,
Right.
but they don't get drunk.
Huh.
And he said they practice a specific level of awareness and presence, and they don't get drunk. And he goes, I don't recommend anybody do this. He
Right.
goes, if 100 of you do this, 99 are going to become drunks, and one might pass through the threshold, you know, in that
Right.
expression. But it's a phenomenal example of a great practice. And like you just said, if you're watching, let's say, a show that doesn't align, but you're doing it with specific intent. When I hear intent, I hear awareness. If you're
Yes.
doing it with specific awareness, now you're self-aware. And it's funny because I was just watching another one of his videos, and the biggest note I took from him was this: make every single activity exciting. And it sounds like that's what you're doing and redefining for yourself, because maybe what you're calling depression has showed up periodically your whole life, but now you're learning to redefine it. And because you're like, yeah, here I am. Because depression now gave us a whole topic to talk about in this podcast.
Right.
Like here we are. Now this is content. And now this is becoming gold.
I hope so, man. I hope so. Again, it takes you know, personally, it is hard. Uh, I've never put myself in this type of light before. If you go look at any of my previous work when it comes to my music stuff, it just looks, everything looks fun, everything looks glamorous. You know what I mean?
Dude, you're making depression fun right now. Like, like you're still living, you're still playing that part, man, because like you're like, because I've seen your videos, you know what I mean? You
Right.
look hard in those videos.
Right.
You're meeting depression how Mili Soch would meet depression. Mili Soch wouldn't let that shit get him down.
Right. Right.
You're meeting it that way. You're intertwining the worlds. Like you're actually seeing yourself.
Right. 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 Um, Thank you for actually saying that, because it only confirms what my intention this time around to making music, making this album was. You know what I mean? The
You're
entire
stepping
intention for this album
up.
was that, you know, is
Yeah.
is to talk about everything personal, everything that I would never, never, ever talk about. Forget talk about in public. I wouldn't even tell my friends how depressed I was and what is the issue that's bugging me.
Yeah,
You get what I'm
because,
saying?
and the reason mainly is because they won't open up to you about their shit. And we all got shit. We
Right.
all
Of
got
course.
shit. But we got trained that it's weak. That
Yes.
it's weak. Yet, so what we do is we do the weak thing is we bury it. And it
Yes.
never actually leaves. So now we're suffering with it 24 hours a day for months, weeks, years, blah, 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 because we keep burying it and burying it and burying it because we got trained out of actually emoting, like you said. Like we're emotional beings. We
Yes.
were given feelings and breath before we were given words.
Right.
Like that's
Right.
a trip when you think about
Yes. Yes. That's an epiphany right there.
it.
You know,
Straight up.
that's real, man. Huh. Yes, you're right. That's crazy. Sorry,
That's
I had
what
to
it's
take a
about.
moment, you know, and I had to take a moment to take that in because that is something very deep. And yeah, man, that's what it was about. Like even like going back to dysfunctional family, making the song, I had to send it to my mom first. My mom had to hear it, and her first thing is, "Why are you doing this?
Mm,
Why are you throwing this out? Why are you going to talk? Because I'm talking about my mom trying to commit suicide
yeah.
and how she tried to commit suicide, and then
Wait.
what ended up happening and why she even did that in the first place. And you know what I mean? So it obviously was, I had to get permission before before she hears it from someone else, or if she said
Yeah.
no, I probably wouldn't have put it out because it took a lot from me to talk about my own parents in such light.
Yeah.
Trust me, I love my dad to death. I would take a bullet for my dad for sure. But there's certain things that I feel like he did that inflicted so much pain on me and my mother and my brothers since we were kids. And now that I put it on paper, it's easy for somebody to think that, hey, look how much shit this guy's talking about his dad. That's not what I'm doing, you know? Um, so when my mom asked me, why are you doing this? And please don't put it out, I had to explain to her exactly why. I had to explain to her, listen, this came out from therapy. I didn't even know I was suffering through these things. Okay, first of all. Second of all, I want somebody else to listen to this and be like, hey, I'm not the only one suffering, because when you guys were going through a divorce, not even here in back home. So I was here with my brothers. I had to drop out of school. I had to go hustle on the streets to put a roof on our heads and food on the table. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, Sorry, I just got caught up in that, man. Fuck.
That's
Like all that
amazing.
shit, like
Yes.
I'm fucking living this in recorded. That's what I'm saying. Like uh, to put this out now, I felt like, so back then when I was going through all that shit, bro, there was only a very few songs that actually helped. You know what I mean? I would listen to these some of these Eminem songs and and uh, and certain like heartbreak songs that I could relate to my parents, and that's it. That family dynamic is done. It's tarnished forever. Like, this relationships exist, but the relationships together will never be the same. And probably won't even see them together ever again, right? Which is till now never happened. And it's been years, more than a decade. Um, but those songs helped me, gave me life, gave me hope. And for the first time, I wanted to put out something like that. I,
Ooh.
you know what I mean? I wanted to
Yes.
be that. I wanted to give that hope. And when I explained that to my mom, sorry to take the long route
Oh,
and
go
get
for
to
it,
the
man. Go
story,
for it.
but when I did do it, she understood it, man. She understood it. She gave me the green light. She said, "Go ahead."
How'd that feel?
It felt good then. It felt good. It felt good. So much so that the emotion, I took the emotion out from the song
Yeah.
until the video was shot. You get what I'm saying? It was easy
Yes.
because when I wrote the song, it was hard. When I recorded it, it was very emotional, very, very, like I was crying recording it.
Yes. I love those ones, man. I love
Uh,
those ones.
I couldn't help it. You know what I mean?
Straight
And
up.
and I felt like I was getting it out of me as I
Yeah.
was doing it. Um, and after it, and I think there was still a little bit left within. And when my mom gave me the okay, yeah, go ahead, do it. Um, I felt like everything came out, and that's why when we went recorded the video, it was much more like a music video. Like yeah, I'm rapping. You know what I mean? I'm not
Yeah.
like fully connected with the emotions of it. Again, we had to go quickly shoot and bounce, so we went in with the game plan. We had all our storyboards. We knew exactly our shots, everything, because we went and checked out the location a couple days ahead. So when we got there, it was straight to get to work because we got there at 6 a.m. so we can get the most done. Because we knew we were going to get kicked out and we were trespassing. So, but there was just so much history there that we had no choice. Like that's every
That's
time I say
real.
it, yeah, every time I put I have no choice, that means I have to risk, and every time there's a risk involved, there's always good that comes out
I
for the
love it.
most part.
I love it. I love it. You know what's cool too? I want to backtrack a little bit when you said like you were diving into the emotions and you're like, I felt like I was getting it out, right?
Yeah.
Getting it out. And can I add to that a little bit from just what I've been observing here? Because it's not just that you were getting it out, because like you could take these emotions, you could go beat the hell out of somebody and you're getting
Yeah.
it out. You were actually transmuting and alchemizing it. So you're not just getting it out, you're turning all this pain into something absolutely inspiring, and you're now like
Right.
sharing it out there. You're not
Right.
just getting it out, because you could have walked up with a baseball bat and just smacked somebody with it. And now you're getting out that pain. You're actually transmuting that pain so you don't have to suffer anymore. And then that's why Eminem stuff would inspire you, because he's transmuting his stuff in a way that you can relate to, and you're saying it keeps you going. And this is, like you're leveling up, man. You're leveling, and this probably felt so real, right?
Oh yeah, like the whole entire process felt so real, man. Because I've again never recorded anything this personal before.
Yeah.
My last album was just all fun. It was just fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This one is very personal. It's very gritty. It's very dark because I cannot look away from who I am. You know what I mean? And as I started asking the questions of, okay, now what after the first album? Now what? Okay, this is done. Now what? Well, what are you going to do now? And as I was going through that, I went through some like heavy downtime. I went through like serious depression for an extended period of time, which lasted months. And during that time, that's when I decided that I have to talk about this. All this that I'm feeling right now, this is what I have to talk about. And I realized as I'm finding myself of who I am as an artist, it really starts with who I am as a human being. That's what defines me as an artist, is me, myself, my experiences, um, everything that helps me, things that don't help me, and everything in my soul that I'm with or against. You know what I mean?
Yep. Straight up, man. Straight up.
But yeah, man, it's a journey, and that's why I'm so happy to share this, our first ceremony together. You know what I mean?
Dude, I was so happy you guys were there.
And I can't believe it's been eight years.
That's wild, man. That's wild. It literally, I can go back like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you remember doing the eye contact thing?
Yes.
And like that was the first time I had ever done something like that.
Yeah, me too.
And it was so powerful. It got me to the point where I started looking at myself in the eyes in the mirror. And I was doing this consistently daily, and I realized how uncomfortable that was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the hell can I connect with anybody if it's this difficult to connect with myself first and foremost? How could I ever connect with anybody else? So I just kept doing it. I just kept looking at myself in the eyes until it got comfortable and comfortable and comfortable. Then I could just do it. And what it did for me, it made eye contact easier with other people.
Right.
And I would watch I could see how many people would look away. it was
Yeah,
intimidating. And it's funny. Then once you start practicing stuff, you start to notice patterns in other people too.
for
It's
sure,
fun.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's because it comes from studying self, right? When you study yourself uh, and the energies you emit. For example, when I sometimes when I'm out, especially with the profession I'm in, it's there's a lot of negative energies involved as much as positive. There's a lot of jealousy, hate, and all that stuff, right? Sometimes I notice that in people emitting it out to me, and I
Mhm.
don't take it personal. You know why? Because I recognized first, I recognized, and then I questioned, how did I recognize?
Cool.
Okay, and when I asked that question is when I realized that I only recognize because I had to dissect my own jealousy, insecurities, envy, and all that bullshit. Once I started dissecting my own and seeing how I was emitting that and why I was emitting that, it all narrows down to insecurities.
Yeah.
If I put in the work, if I put in the effort, I will be confident in what I do, no matter what I do, as long as I put in the work.
Yeah.
So therefore, anybody else's confidence, success, money, whatever it may be, shouldn't and would not affect me in any sort of way.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so when I started understanding that, I don't take it personal. You're going to feel envious or jealous or anything for that matter that's negative, a negative emotion towards the next human being, hate. You are going through something, is my understanding now. You get what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. And how does the experience differ for you now from when it would bother you when you met, I'm going to say haters,
Yeah.
to now it doesn't affect you? Like what, how does this experience differ for you?
Before, uh, I would notice it, and I would just be bitter about it, and I would also be fake about it because when I would see these people, if it was straight, consistent hate, then I would show you that I don't care. There's
Yeah.
no, like you could be in a room with me, and I would just look through you, so you won't even approach me to say what's up. But when people do say what's up, obviously I'm in a setting. I'm not going to go revert to my old street habits and start fighting you, you know what I mean, or checking you because I would, it wasn't worth it. But at the same time, I started realizing, hey, I'm being super fake. If I don't like this person, right, and it's not even personal, I do not like your ego, and I'm 100% sure that your soul is pure. You know what I
That
mean?
was awesome. It's not personal. I just don't like your ego.
It's the truth.
It's fucking awesome. It's not personal. I just don't. That's as real as it gets, man. That's as real as it gets.
uh, but yeah, so sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so yes, to go back to what you were saying, um, when it came down to it, it was me. I had to point fingers on myself. I was getting so sick and tired of people's or haters hating so much that I had to look at myself and see all the bullshit I do. Then that's when I started understanding. Okay, I have jealousies. Uh, I have envy within me. I look at my other artists in the same genre as me. I look at other people and start comparing.
Yeah.
Once I started doing all that and looking at myself, it became more clear. Just shut the fuck up and fix yourself. Who
Yeah.
cares about the rest, right?
Yeah.
So now when I see them, again, I'm not being fake. If you come and say what's up to me, and I know you're a hater, again, I know it's not personal. I just don't like your ego. So I'm going to say what's up to you because at that moment, you chose to be fake by playing your ego.
Wow, man. That's real. That's
You know what I mean?
real. Yeah.
Because at every time we always want to switch, right? That's who we are human beings. I might talk shit about you because you made me feel a certain way. Well, when I see you, hey Lee, what's going on, bro? Haven't seen you in so long. And that's when we get a little bit confused.
Yeah.
Like, I fully know you don't like me, but just because we're in a setting now, you feel the need to say what's up, right?
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so now it's really people are that's just a human condition, bro. Hate is a human condition. It's up to each individual to tame it, you know, to feed it or not feed it. and it's easy. Trust me. Some days I just wake up and I'm just itching to hate and freaking be angry at somebody.
I know what you
I
mean,
want to
man.
be fucking angry at somebody.
Yeah.
I recognize that within me. Like I would just in my mind be like, "Yo, fuck my dad. Remember what he did?" I'm like, "Yeah, but it has nothing to do with right now. I haven't even been in contact with him, or it'll take me to remember this guy. He said fuck you once and blah blah blah. Like it'll give me a reason, and I'm looking for something to someone or something or an incident to hate on and be angry about. So it's a human condition.
Whoa. And you know what's cool? How you expressed that when you were younger would have easily kept you distracted from this. And now you've taken away that distraction. So you're actually feeling the emotions. And this is the permission slip to transmute it. Because
Yeah,
before you were so busy with it, you wouldn't even know it's happening. That's cool. That's
yeah,
really cool.
for sure. Um, and yeah, man, it feels like a journey. Thank you for the talk. Actually, it's made me feel better.
This is
You
what it's all
know,
about,
today,
man. Thank
you know,
you. Thank you. This is gold, the stuff you're sharing. And you know how many of us can relate? Like I wrote a verse in a poem and it goes, maybe they ain't judging. Nobody's budging. Everybody's hugging, shrugging, and loving. And the judge, that was me. It's hard to see, but I was my own worst enemy. And now it's clear and I see how to steer to be free. Believe reality, perceive.
huh,
You know
huh,
what? I I learned as well, like you did. You know, it was judging eyes really bothered me. Haters really bothered. People talking shit really bothered me. I didn't like that, especially like at a work setting. If somebody went and like told the boss something on me, like boom, it's on. Like
yes,
it's on. Get the fuck out of my face. Like I'm not down with you. I'm
right,
not down with you at all. Like I don't care how tight we were yesterday. You just did that. Like all of that stuff, right? Like I would hang
mm,
on to this stuff so badly too.
right,
And once I started to realize that it was my perspective of what just happened that was affecting me more than what was just done or what was just said or how it went down. It was the way I chose to see it that was causing me anger, that was causing me to suffer.
yes,
Then, once you know that, there's no real way out of empowering your own mindset through that because you can't not think it. You
right.
can't not acknowledge that. Like, my emotions are sovereign to the situation happening outside of me, and I have full control over how I choose to define and meet those emotions.
Yes, 100%. You know what you just defined something, right? You know that, right? You know what you defined right now?
That
The saying, um, um, damn, it was so deep. It was so deep. I lost my thought, yo. It was
it was
so
so
deep.
deep I stopped digging.
Yeah, yeah. um, but yeah, it just occurred to me that it was the saying that. Sorry, what were you saying again before? It was just so deep, man. It
Oh,
was
like the verse or just what I was describing
no what you're
about
describing right now.
just about haters and stuff like that. Like I'll break it down again. Like I have no control over what Mili Soch thinks about me right now. You could be hating. You could be like, fuck this guy. He's a loser. He's an idiot. He
Yes.
doesn't know what he's talking about. And
Yep.
if you are thinking that stuff,
Yep.
now we emote, we emit, we can
Yes.
feel. The 90% of communication is nonverbal.
Yep.
So now I can feel your hate.
Yeah.
Feel you hating on me. I can feel you hating on me. That is not what's affecting me. What's
Hmm.
affecting me are my emotions. I have
Yes.
control over my emotions. I can't control your emotions. And
Yes.
when I respond or react to what you might or might not be thinking, I'm trying to control you and I don't even realize it. I have
Mm.
self control. So I
Yes.
have to look at my emotions, my thoughts, my feelings, and make a choice. Because
Yes.
what I choose to focus on can shift the actual caliber of the experience. How I choose to meet these moments. And it's not even just about focus. Let's take it a little bit deeper because, like, okay, boom, you hit this thing. You're like, okay, I'm going through depression. You know, I'm going through depression. I don't really have control over this thing that's happening. So I'm just going to choose to meet it differently. I'm going to
Hmm.
take a surfboard and I'm going to swim out into the water. And when a wave comes, I'm going to fucking surf. It's not going to crash me into the shore anymore. I'm not going to drown. I'm not going to get caught up in this stuff. I'm going to get on this board and I'm going to surf. I'm going to learn how to ride this fucking wave because that is more fun.
Yes. Well, I don't know if it's fun. It's more hard.
Well, the process of learning how to surf isn't always fun. But once you can just jump on that board.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I definitely understand what you're saying.
I was watching this documentary it was about these like hippies doing acid in California in like the 70s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy was telling this story of this professional surfer. He named him, I don't know who it is, but he said this guy was high on acid on the beach. He has a joint in his mouth and he's like, hey, watch this. And he runs out with the surfboard, swims all the way out. He comes back riding in, joint in mouth. Didn't even lose the joint the whole time. And he went and chased that wave. Now let's call that wave depression. You're teaching yourself right now how to surf. You're going to fall a couple times. It's going to smack you around. You know what I mean? You're going to hit the water. You're going to go, oh, you're going to sit there and wait. But when it comes now, then you're going to be like, oh yeah, look at this. I'm feeling this wave. Fuck it. Let's go make a song. Fuck it. Let's go inspire somebody. Let's go do something good with it because now I'm in control. It doesn't control me anymore because I've chosen to build a relationship with this part of myself. I didn't know that this part of myself was capable of even, controlling me, but it was the whole time. And that's why I acted out in this way and acted out in that way and reacted this way and did this and did that and did this and did that. And what I'm personally witnessing is you actually choosing to redefine these sensations that you call depression.
Right. Yes. I guess that would be it. Yeah. I mean, this would be the first step of even like taking this meeting, right?
Dude, wait till you watch this. Wait till you watch this. Because I know that the vulnerable emotions of like getting yourself out there, you're going to watch this and be like, that's me? Like,
yeah,
oh,
usually this is me though. I don't watch any of my work after. Like when it comes to anything I do, like it's radio interviews, podcasts, music videos, after I don't watch it. After it's out, I don't watch it.
Wow, man, you got to watch yourself on this one because this is, that's my recommendation. You do your thing.
Yeah. No. The reason being, which is good. I mean, I need to watch it. You know why? Because it's my ego that keeps battling me. That's why I don't watch it. Like, oh shit, you could have moved like this. You could have done this. You could have done.
Oh, I love that. That's why I watch my stuff.
Why are you sitting like that? Why are you doing it like this?
Yeah, that's why I watch my stuff. I'm studying me every time I watch what I do. I put a poem out. I put a video out. I put inspiring content out. I'm watching. I'm my biggest critic, and it's making me better and better and better and better and better and better. I'm just choosing to meet that critic differently.
Right. You see, that's the difference. The way when I watch it, what happens in my head is I am a critic in a very bad way. I start thinking I'm not supposed to do this, or I'm not supposed to.
Oh yeah, that's normal. That's a normal part of it. And, I've gone through that.
When you are supposed to be in flow state, why are you questioning that?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And how you move and how you act or whatever. You know why? At the end of the day, I realized this recently is since I was a kid, I was a very judgmental person. I judged everything. I stayed quiet for the most part, but I judged everything because I observed so much. I knew what I liked and I knew what I didn't like. I knew what looked cool and what looked like you trying. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was just my personality. And hence, what started happening was when I put myself out there, whether it's music, podcast, whatever, I start judging myself because I'm judging everything else around me.
Woo. Oh, that's a good one. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And therefore I start thinking I'm not supposed to do this and I was supposed to do. I start questioning flow state. And once I start doing that, I'm acting now. I'm not being myself anymore.
That makes sense because if you look at things from the perspective of physics,
if
you study physics, you'll see that a lot of different, not just physics, but a lot of even religion. Like a lot of people say that the external world is a holographic reflection of what's actually happening inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're judging everything happening outside of you, and this is actually all happening within you, you're judging yourself all day and every day. And that's why
Yeah.
they say, know thyself, do unto others as you want done to you, things
Right.
like that. You hear it quoted everywhere in all places. And they even
Right.
say, like, when you speak bad about people, you're actually speaking bad about yourself. And
Right.
so I took that and I rolled with it. I'm like, you know what? Okay. So that means if I tell you how incredible you are, I'm actually telling me how incredible I am.
Yes.
Let's elevate. Let's all elevate each other.
Right. 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 And nowadays that's what I love, bro. Like it's just such a great time to be living in because there's so much research and so much stuff out there that you can actually go look for evidence. You know what I mean? Like especially when you're listening to like podcasts that motivate and stuff, you come across people. And recently I was, I think, watching some Bill Yu interview, and um, he was talking about how the human mind, attracts negative emotions and thoughts much more, 7 times more than positive. That's why when it's something negative that takes place on social media, that's why people jump on it so quick. There's so much hate and so much negative. It just trickles down so quick because I believe he said 7 times more. It attracts negative patterns more.
Man, if that's true,
So
that's crazy. It makes sense, though. It really makes sense. We gravitate to that. We gravitate to the drama, too.
that's exactly why it's easier to do something like that, and it's harder to stay on point. It's harder to protect
That's what makes
yourself.
it a complete oxymoron paradox. It's
Yeah,
like it's paradise in a paradox. It's so
right.
simple.
Yeah,
It's so simple that it can't be that simple.
it's so simple, but it's hard to do the simple because we want to indulge. It's like having chocolate, for instance, just eating a tub of ice cream, for instance. I love chocolate ice cream. I would
Yeah.
eat a tub of chocolate ice cream if I smoked like a couple joints and had, you know what I mean? Like
Oh
I've done this
yeah.
back in the days. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. When you indulge in just gossip and just talking shit about people bond over this, bro. People bond over talking shit about other people. You get what I'm saying? When the
Wow. Oh
person is
my God. I know.
when when it's a common person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And therefore there's so many religions, so many different civilizations talk about don't talk behind each other's back, because if, for example, in Islam it said if you talk behind each other's back, it's like it's although or equal to eating that person's flesh, like eating your own brother's flesh. If I talk shit behind your back, it's
Wow.
so would you want to do that? Why is that comparison made? Now I understand. I mean, obviously, after doing psychedelics and making that comparison with energy and not taking everything just with the scratch in the surface face value, I understand now there's a deeper meaning to that. And now all these religions, that's what they promote. That's why they say, hey, I think somewhere I read that not smart people talk about ideas, and, other people talk about gossip and other people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It goes to show that same similarity of when we indulge in that, we're putting that same negative process into our head. It's although like easy to eat ice cream and indulge in that, it's easy to get those endorphins flooded. It's easy to go freaking watch some crazy porn and fucking jerk off 10 times. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's easy to do these things. You
Yeah.
get what's harder? To go find a girl that you like or to know that you're compatible with, work a relationship. That's what's hard.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Building towards something is way more difficult.
Yes. So it's easy to indulge in talking shit about other people, which only will create more negative within you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it validates all this shit that you talk about yourself all day. When you talk
Yeah.
about shit about other people, that part is you're feeding that part within yourself. And of course you're going to talk shit about yourself. Of course you're going to judge yourself. Of course you're going to hate yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and it's cool because I mean we fall into it. You know what I mean? Like that's why I love writing, because my poems remind me and they center me, they recenter me, and they bring me right back and bring me right back and bring me right back. But now I forgot where I was going with this. So now that's one for one.
You know what's so crazy? Like with this whole obviously with this podcast here, it's been like that. Like there were times I wanted to say something so because based on going off of what you're saying, but as you're saying it, I understand it because I'm in the now. And then as I want to add something to it, it just disappears because I'm still processing what you just said because it was so deep. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
then the beauty of that is this is what makes it perfect.
right.
This is actually what makes it perfect. Because like we grew up in a system where we had to be perfect. We had to have everything in line, but then there was the inauthenticity that followed with that. And so we were being what we thought was real. So we
Yes.
were being true to ourselves. We were living the depiction of what we thought the most real human being was.
Yeah.
That was as real as we could be. And then we just found a new level of real, which is this, just this flow, this ebb and flow. Where does it
Yeah.
turn out? And then we see who resonates and how it works.
Right. Yo, that just made me realize, it just made me, again, see, it's like when you say things, it's just other thoughts just pop up, right? It just made me realize that all these news anchors, since we were kids, why isn't there any empathy shown with anything there's, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Why is everything so monotone and robotic?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, did you see that one anchor where the guy, the fly flew in his face?
What?
Just go YouTube ghetto news reporter. this guy's like, wait, can I screen share? Can I even, I don't even know, but whatever. This guy's like, he's talking in that news anchor voice and a fly flows in his face. And he's just like, what the fuck, man? It's just a total 360. It's hilarious.
But why are we fed that? You know what I mean? Look how we are processing information when it's done like that, right?
That I never thought of it to that depth. And you're right. We're taking away the richness. I mean, even look at like the way we're building houses today. You know what I mean? Like all the houses in one street are becoming like the same house, and they're very like there's just where we're it's
Yeah.
it's.
You know what that reminds me of? You ever seen that TV show called Weeds?
I've never actually seen it. I know what you're talking about though.
Did you watch? Okay, so please just look at the Google the intro to it. So the intro to Weeds. Please Google it. Sorry, YouTube it. You'll watch it, okay? So it goes, little boxes on a hilltop, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes in the hilltop. And we all do the same. We're doctors and lawyers and yo, bro.
That's how it starts.
Yo, you have to watch this.
God,
it's exactly
man.
what you said.
That's
exactly
hilarious. Yeah, we're just so much more. And I feel like right now on Earth, many of us are meeting the spiritual elements to life. And we like I didn't know there were spiritual aspects to this game. And I believe that we're actually we're reincorporating that consciously back into this system and this society, which is greatly needed.
Yeah, man, for sure. 100%, especially with everything that's going on and how everything is coming to light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Straight up.
That's why it's like they say, it's never, no matter how much love and appreciation, gratitude is shown, it's never enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's never going to be enough because at any given time, anyone else could be inspired. Just like how when I watch random stuff, I'm watching for what? To get inspiration, to get more understanding and clarity. And that's why it's very important. That's why this year, bro, it just made me understand what intention is. How true can one be to their intention to execute anything in life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it all comes down to, is my true belief. And I think we can, even if we started something without the right intention, like for example, me, when I started the music, my intention was strictly to make money.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Strictly, that was my intention.
And that's what we were taught. We were taught that we're supposed to just make money.
Right.
Now, it got confusing for me too.
Right.
Like I went heavily broke in my early 20s and then moved to Alberta. Now I'm making 6 figures. But like making 6 figures was supposed to be like the end all be all. You've made it.
Right.
And man, I'm still taking payday loans at like 19% monthly interest because I can't wait 2 weeks for, because I just can't not spend money for 2 weeks.
Right.
It was crazy to see that it wasn't necessarily money that was
Yeah.
creating
Right.
anything for me. It was how I
Right.
was meeting the moment that
Right.
was creating the whole caliber of it.
For sure. For sure. And when I started understanding what intention was and started doing more research on intention, I started understanding that money is a byproduct of what you do. You know what I mean? Your purpose and intention is what is the true product. It starts with your intention, and then the product is how you make people feel is the product, right?
Yeah.
And the energy back in return because of how you made them feel. You know, some sort of joy. I'm hoping. Uh,
Yeah. You're putting care into it now, into what you're creating.
yes, and therefore, what comes out of that, the byproduct of it. For example, like when you go to the gym, it's a better analogy. When you go to the gym, a lot of people, including myself, usually went to the gym to look pleased. You get it?
Yeah.
Until I had to suffer from chronic pain, I understood there is more to the gym, and that's just a byproduct. The
Oh,
exterior is a
whoa.
byproduct.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
the purpose? What is your intention initially? Discipline. Because without the discipline, that's the product there. Without the discipline, you won't see the byproduct. What else is the product there? It's how you feel, the actual endorphins that kick in, right? You're fighting your mind every single time when your mind is saying no and causing these other pains to occur and make it even more enhanced to stop you from going and putting yourself through some brutal cardio or weight training exercise. The mind does this because it's trying to protect you, so it thinks. Because if you're using that pencil, which is the ego always, you're going to believe it because that pencil is down to its, and you're still writing on it. But if it's sharp, you can understand that, yo, I'm keeping this sharp. I'm not acting on you. You know, I'm not acting on you. Therefore, I'm going to push myself. All these pains, fuck you. You're going to put something motivational in your ear and push yourself to the gym or go do something cardio because you know putting yourself through that process will also reflect on your byproduct. Therefore, when you see somebody who's healthy, whether it's weights, whether it's some cardio exercise they do, it's the byproduct in their body, you know, because that's how we work as human beings, right? Uh, our mind is growing when we're kids, so is our body. Then our body stops growing, and we choose not to grow our minds anymore, close to our
Straight
30s,
up. Well,
right?
we know what the world's all about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We got it all figured out now.
And we have these stupid sayings, these dumbass sayings, and all this, I believe, truly, I take it very fucking personal on these fucking things because I actually believe these motherfuckers. Okay,
Yeah.
what am I saying? Is like, for example, old dogs can't learn new tricks.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Who said that? I can teach my dog today a new trick. Okay,
Straight up.
because I know what my dog's intention is. Okay, my dog would only move based on food. I can teach him the trick. It's my responsibility to put in that time to teach it to him. If you want to believe that saying, okay, obviously it's a metaphor. It's, you know, people use it to humans. It's not just dogs, but I will take it to that level since they chose to put a dog there.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I
Straight up,
can
man.
legit my dog is almost 11. I can teach him. I can teach him to do new tricks as long as I put in the time. I am also responsible to put in the time. My dog is not the only one responsible, just like I am the only one responsible to put in the time, whether it's at the gym, whether it's to go and put in some hard work, whether
Yeah.
it's doing breathing exercises, whether it's meditating. It's my fucking responsibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you say these things, or, you know, man, they have these so many sayings, bro. Like, it's nothing's coming to me right now, but it's always to put limitations on us, and we start believing these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, for example, also it's you know, the saying that when you're younger, it's easier.
Yeah. And ignorance is bliss. And
Yeah, ignorance is bliss.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Ignorance is bliss, but also look how much harm you're causing because of your ignorance, because you choose to say, hey, well, I choose to be like this because
Well,
This is who I
the term, I mean, anytime I feel it, sometimes I do, I'm like, oh man, and then I remember I'm like, the only reason it's bliss is because I was blind to the fact that I was numbing myself.
am. Yes.
Now I'm aware that I'm numbing myself. So
Yes.
now it's only perceived as not bliss because it's somewhat of a burden because it's a discipline. It's a discipline to not be ignorant. It's a discipline to look at myself. It's a discipline to be aware of the bullshit that I'm creating. And
Right.
ultimately, put in the time, like you're saying, and then it becomes bliss. Then the work that I put in becomes bliss. It enables more rich conversations, better relationships. Everything expands as a result of putting in that time and effort. But we limit ourselves. We limit
Right.
ourselves based on limitations that other people even put on themselves. Like if you surround yourself with people who limit their minds and their abilities, that's going to become your reality.
And that also starts with discipline, right? It takes effort and courage to say that I am not going to hang around people that you grew up maybe all your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's cool is you also find the resonance as well as a result of that, because like by learning to just connect with myself, it involves disconnecting from a lot of people, but it's as an offset, it's connected me deeper to people as well. So
Yes.
even if I don't see this guy every day, let's say I see him once every 6 months, that one time every 6 months is way more rewarding than had I seen that guy every second day for 6 months.
Right.
Because it's way
Exactly.
deeper. You're really, really, really connecting. And then you see that guy 6 months later, and it feels like it was just yesterday.
Right.
The
Exactly.
depth and the richness of the connection and the communication, everything just amplifies as a result of connecting with self.
Right. And you know what? I also realized that only people like that last when the relationship was true.
Yeah.
If it
Yeah.
was built on expectations, obviously it falls off.
Yeah.
When you start, and that's why it all goes back to understanding self in order to understand others, right?
That's it, man. That's it.
You know,
Yeah.
but yeah.
This is epic, man. This is epic. Why don't you show what do you got going on? Do you got any of your art that you're working on right now?
Uh, art as in like the music stuff.
Product, man.
Oh,
You're selling some products right now, right?
yeah. So this is actually it's her. It's what she had in mind and came across, and she was very enthusiastic. So we jumped on board. I started helping her out with it as much as I can. I'll show you. So here we have.
Oh, Pac.
Yes. So
Love
this
it, man.
is
That's a roll, or that's a
yeah. So this is
rolling
a
table.
rolling. So this is a rolling tray.
Yeah.
It's called Mother of Trays. You can check it out on Instagram.
Mother of trays.
Mother of Trays.
Cool.
Here you can see.
Oh my God, Eminem, Slim Shady.
Yes.
Dude, that looks badass.
So everything is put together by us. We do custom jobs. So based on everything you like, your interests. Say you're into a certain team. You like, I don't know, Corona to drink. I mean, Corona beer.
Of all the examples. Do you like Corona?
And then I'm
Go
like,
get some
holy shit.
Corona today.
I just realized as I said it, because the last art I made, the guy was like, "Hey, can you put Corona beer on it?" That's my beer. So like, whatever it is, right? Like your favorite team, your favorite artist, favorite albums, and then we make a little collage with your name on it. We do custom jobs like that. There's also in-house design. Obviously, those are cheaper. All those are also custom. These are unique trays. You can't find them anywhere. We make them custom. Also, just wait 1 second. Let me also bring the other product.
Hell yeah. And we're just looking into the mirror, guys. Look into your own eyes.
Okay.
Oh, what you got there? See, if you want to go get some Corona, you got to put that on.
So yeah, um, and then we also started making these masks. Initially, we started making these masks. Um,
That's cool.
so one of our first first conversations um, as a couple was when the whole Corona thing started. Was how much waste it's going to add on with all these disposable masks, and that's when we started doing all this research on what would be the best solution for um, reusable masks.
Yeah.
That was the intent of this when we started this off, and as a result, we started doing sublimation on masks. So you get to pick anything you want. You send us any image, and we get to put the image on it.
I like that.
And as we were handing out samples to friends and family during the quarantine, we're calling people up and saying, "Hey, send us your logo. We want to put on a mask and send it to you." As we were doing that, one of uh, one of the promoters, so he holds the biggest South Asian concert in Toronto, right at Yonge and Dundas, Sats B. So he approached me saying, "Hey, I want to get into the mass business, but I want to do it with purpose." And I told him, "Yes, so our company, our purpose is to help bring the waste down, and that's why we're doing it." And he suggested that he wants to um, um, help little kids with Operation Smile. So if you go to operationsmile.ca, you'll see that they help kids that are born with cleft lips and cleft palates. And so now we started making face masks where we're putting your face or any celebrity face. This is ASAP Rocky here. Um, and we started making that and then started a different company called Smile for Smiles for every smile that you put and buy on a mask. And it could be any celebrity or anything with a smile. It could be Dracula. Um, parts, proceeds from that go to Operation Smiles to help a kid, you
I
know,
love
and
that. I really
yeah,
love that. It's the greatest form of alchemy because
mm,
this whole mask thing is uncomfortable for so
yeah,
many people.
of
And
course.
you're taking this and you're alchemizing it. You're like, okay, if this is going to be a thing right now temporarily, we're going to take this and we're going to go help some kids on the other side of the world.
Right.
And I think that's so brilliant. And once this whole mask thing, once nobody's wearing a mask anymore, I hope you take all that and you put it into hats and you just keep rolling with
Oh
what
yeah.
you're
So
doing.
so initially, before this whole pandemic, the idea that Reed did have was she was getting into socks and she wanted to make novelty socks, right?
Boom.
Um,
Yeah,
initially, that's how it started. For
that's
her,
cool.
she wanted to make novelty socks focused on hip hop and calling it hip hop socks. Uh, and there's nothing like that then in the market, at least.
Yeah,
Um, and so that's what she started off with. But then the whole Corona thing happened, and that's when she decided, I want to pivot to this because again, the masks are going to cause so much waste. I'm going to put this on hold, and I'm going to start doing um, masks instead
makes
of doing
sense.
socks.
It makes sense. That's where the
Yeah, it made
market's
sense.
going to.
Yeah, it made sense then, and that's why I was like, hey, let's do this. And since then, Operation Smiles they've been great. We've been working with them closely. So please go to Instagram, check out Smile for Smiles at Smile for Smile, or at Mask Up Fam. Um, and yeah, check out the mask there, and then you can go obviously check out uh, Mother of Trays and.
Oh, where you at? There it is, Mother of Trays. Look at, oh wow,
So yeah, this is our US bestseller.
that's a cool one. Whose image is that?
So all the image is put together in-house by our designers.
Yeah,
Um, so what they do is, again, we were based on collage art, right?
yeah,
So say For example, let me show you something. That's an in-house design. So every element in that is a separate element that was put together.
Cool.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So if you look at this is a custom piece, and it says right there, property of DJ Cameron, right? So
Wow.
this is everything he likes and wants. So if you look at a turntable, it's a specific turntable that he wanted on it, okay, because he's a DJ. And he wanted the Toronto Raptors, he wanted specific weed. So you can see there's Blue Dream,
Yeah.
there's Girl Scout. Those are he likes those. He likes these artists. He smokes backwoods and zigzags. You get what I'm
That's
saying?
so cool, man. I love it. I love it. And then he's rolling. And when he's rolling on it, now that energy is coming in and that love and care that you put into it is going into
Yeah.
every joint that he smokes. That is also providing this visual, like it's granting good feelings the whole way through.
Yeah, so that's how even this came about. All the stuff is individually glittered accordingly. Okay, so if you look at that's gold glitter right there because it's
Cool.
yellow, right? And then you can see the MPC player and all the electricity. It's all silver glitter. So we take our time, you know what I mean, in designing and processing and doing it because we wanted to again do it with purpose. Usually when someone says, hey, can you make me something, they only get one revision on it, you know what I mean. And when we show them the revision, usually there's no revision. They just love everything and their mind is just that alone is what I consider currency.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? That is
great way to look at it.
It's more valuable to me than anything. Obviously, we need to eat and provide shelter for ourselves, and that ain't free. So the byproduct of it is also great. Again, this whole entire operation is Ree's. I just I just try to help her as much as I can, and when it's things like this, I help her promote it.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, how do people find this stuff again? Why don't you
this
say?
Is Mother of Trays. So
you see that? Mother of Trays. I love that.
On Instagram.
You're honoring the earth too.
And then we have
Mask Up Fam. Cool.
Right. So these are, oh yeah, and then there's Operation Smile.
Operation Smile.
Oh, yeah.
Helping the kids across the globe. It's so awesome, man. It's so awesome to see, like, just to summarize it all from you, like being so proactive, doing all these different things, going and recording songs, creating products, and empowering yourself through depression. Like that, it's just so phenomenal and so inspiring to see the path that you're choosing to walk. And I emphasize choosing because everything you're doing with all this stuff is an absolute choice you're making daily, and that's where strength comes from.
Yes, yeah, definitely, man. It's always going to be an uphill battle, and as Jocko Wilkins says, if he took the boulder all the way up the hill and placed it up the hill, he's only going to kick it back down in order to do it again.
So enjoy the journey, or what?
You know what I mean? So that's what it's going to be. And that always be the wolf that's always climbing the hill and never stop, right? Even if you get to the hill, find a mountain then. You know what I mean? Again, like you said, it's choice. It's the choices we make every day, and this is the choice I made today that made me feel a little better. And it was so easy. My old me would have been making up some excuse and saying, and not even the real thing, not even saying, hey, I'm depressed. I don't think I want to do this today. I was just making some bullshit up excuse saying that, yo, something came up,
Yeah.
Now what starts happening is I also started realizing this. Every time I lie to somebody else, make up an excuse, which is a lie, not a valid reason, I'm lying to myself, and I don't want to lie to myself anymore. So like I have to keep it as real as I can get.
Epic, man. How did it feel? Like, I know you had those moments where you're like, I don't want to do this podcast, and then you showed up and did it.
Yeah.
Now, when you felt that resistance compared to now, how do you feel on the other side of making that choice within that space?
I would say it's like working out. It's like doing cardio. I would say more so because I hate doing cardio. Uh, You know what I mean? I hate it with passion. I was never the gym kid. Um, but every time I do it, and on the other side, I see how much more beneficial it's for me. One,
Yeah,
because I deal with neuralgia, so it helps mask that pain. Number two, the hardest part is the beginning before even doing it. And then once you make the decision and you're going through it, that momentum and keeping it up and the belief within self and clearing the mind and pushing through, it's the exact same thing. Like it just I can relate it and correlate it because it is parallel to what is happening because your mind is also being exercised. That's how I take it, right? So
yeah,
it's like doing cardio as much as I did not want to do it. On the other side, now I feel more clarity. I feel more, it was good for me. And I've also, I started doing everything that I don't want to do. What I mean by that is every time I say I don't want to do this, I question where it is coming from. It's never, it's hardly ever the soul telling me not to do something and my gut telling me not to do something because it's warning me about something.
yeah.
Uh, Other than that, most part, it's my ego. So I just try to tell it to shut the fuck up. And the only way I can tell my ego to shut the fuck up is by actually doing what it does not want me to do.
Mm, yeah, by meeting it and loving it like that. Just,
Yeah, it's like, yo, you don't want to do this? Well, okay, go do it.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, this is
yeah.
tedious? Okay, breathe in and understand that the process. Why is something tedious? You know, I had so many factory jobs when I was a kid and
Yeah.
just random jobs, man. But the factory job was the most tedious because it was the
Oh, the one with the clock over there. You can see the
yes,
fucking clock all
yes. So you
day.
can relate.
Oh
You
my
can relate.
God, man. That hour is like 2 weeks. You got an
Yo,
hour before lunch and it's like two
yo,
weeks.
a 5 minutes felt sometimes like you're doing so much, the same repetitive motion, and you look up and it's only been 5 minutes, and you're like, what the fuck? And you know what's so crazy? That was when I was an adolescent, right?
Yeah.
After I started indulging in psychedelics, it was the exact same thing. Sometimes it would feel like, whoa, it's so overwhelming. And yo, man, it felt like a millennia. And I
Yeah.
look at it, I'm like, oh, fuck, it's only been half an hour.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's it, man. That's it. Time's a trip, man. Time's a trip.
Yeah, so yeah, to go back to what you're saying, it's always knowing that, understanding that every time there is a barrier and I don't want to do something, and usually it's my ego, and then me taking the responsibility to tell my ego to shut the fuck up by taking the action and doing the opposite of what my ego is saying, is every time I get closer to myself, and every time there's reward on the other side. Every time there's reward on the other side. Just like doing any kind of exercise, always there's reward on the other side. You're always grateful you did it,
Yeah.
despite of the injuries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Straight up. Straight up. You're putting in the work, man. That's inspiring. It really is. It really is. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate everything you're doing, everything you stand for, and everything you represent.
Likewise.
Like I'm excited for your music to come out now. When is this album coming out?
Album is, we're hoping, thank God that all the studios are open now and everything is work in motion.
Yep.
Album is coming out uh, 100% before the year is done. Hopefully end of October, aiming for. Uh,
Cool. How do people find it?
you can find it. The easiest way to find any of my work is through Instagram, Mili Soch, Milisoch. Um, and already dropped a single. The first single for the album, Demons, is out.
Oh, you
Uh,
dropped it. Okay.
yes, a couple months ago.
Okay. Perfect.
It's so crazy how it came out because I was talking about inner demons, certain things I've done in the past.
Yeah.
Obviously, my music is in English. It's a mixture of Hindi and English.
That's
Uh,
great.
so yeah, go check it out. It's me sharing my deepest moments. Me thinking I was the cause of death for my ex's father.
Yeah.
Uh, he had a marijuana-induced heart attack, and I was the one that supplied him with it. So I lived with this guilt for a long time. Um, so yeah, again, I started this album. That was the first single talking about everything I would never have talked about before. The album is called Johari Window. if you guys please go look into Johari window. It's a good technique that two psychiatrists came out with in order to help yourself understand yourself better, in order to understand each other better.
Mm,
Yeah,
man, that's epic. That's epic. I just want to say thank you so much for being on here, brother. This is
thank you
freaking,
for
this is
having me.
so awesome, man. I love it. And if you guys like this, hit like, hit subscribe, and keep it going because I'm gonna have more cool people on here like Mili Soch. All right, you guys take care. Good to have you, brother.
Peace.